All right, everyone. Going to just review three markets and see what's setting up. All right, so upper row has daily, 4-hour and 15-minute. Bottom row has Renko charts and a 5-minute. All right, so the Renko chart give you clarity within the time-based chart. So you can have like a time-based charts and then its Renko chart version, which is, in my opinion, is really awesome. All right, so on the daily, you're basically going to take out this high. It's very, very likely going to take out the high. Why? Because the breakdown to the downside failed and was followed by a reversal. Typically when that happens, when you have breakouts that are rejected, then it's going to take out the high. So I'm looking to take out the high. And also it acted very, let's say predictably, but if you take a look at exactly where the price went, and the Renko chart shows this, when you had a price rally, pull back, right to the test of the breakout, right over here. It was the high, it was about 4073.75. The low was 4068.75. So tapping this high and then reacting. So it was a very nice rally, pull back to the test of the breakout, also POC there, and then it moved. So I mean, it's very predictable. All of it is just planning in advance and being ready to pull the trigger after doing the planning. All right, so anyway, so it does that, and now taking a look at the 4-hour. You can see the strong rally here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive red bars. If you take green bars, take a look at the red bars, it's one followed by green bar, one red bar followed by green bar. That's no follow through, weakness, no heavy selling, etc. So it's going to take out that high. This high will be taken, and we see that the level was at 4167 and a pullback to 4132, then a break to 4191-ish, 4194-ish. So what am I looking for in here? I'm looking at this area, 4170. Why? It's the break. And you can very clearly see the pullback or attempt to go lower that was rejected. How do you know? You just take a look at the wick. The wick represents lost opportunities for the bears to reject the high and go lower. They failed. Instead, the bulls pulled it right back up and took out the high, broke out, and had fall through. Meaning what? Meaning you have stuck shorts, you have traders who want to get in on the pullback and all of that. So making this pullback entry the appropriate entry to create the necessary buying pressure to continue up. All right? Remember, you have old sellers, new buyers, and right here you have old sellers who are stuck. You have current buyers whose stop is below here, and you have new buyers who want to buy. I mean, there's edge. Anyway, so let it come back and test 4170, and when it does, you want to see what kind of pressure. What kind of pressure is there? If you have heavy buying pressure, it will tell you that either someone's covering their existing positions or they're buying or they're adding on, and will give you an opportunity. So yeah, 4170 on the ES. All right. This was interesting. It had a little bit of a shorting of the thrust, but there was no sound pressure after that. Shorting of the thrust is only meaningful if you have heavy, like a sign of strength or a sign of weakness after it. Otherwise, it could just mean temporary loss of momentum, which will set up the pullback, not a change in trend, but a just a pullback to test, which is what folks will go long. So for shorting of the thrust, if that's something that you're interested in learning, and basically, to me, I think it's totally meaningless because I've seen a lot of shorting of the thrust, experimented with it and all that, and I know when it works and why it works. And that's why I know that it needs to have selling pressure. If you have a buying shorting of the thrust, you need selling pressure after that. Once that happens, it becomes a increased probability of the trade. It means that there was a loss of momentum or buying and sellers took advantage and they're changing the trend. But without that, it just means there's a little bit lack of buying pressure, and it could also just be a probe of the high to pull back, reaccumulate, and then break out. Anyway, 4170 on the ES. Let's take a look at what other markets and see what's going on. All right, so this is a very opportune time to start looking at crude. I know folks are a little bearish on crude, very short term, but look at this. Look at this. You see this brick? It's the biggest volume in 20 bricks, and it's being tested, and now it's reversing. When it's reversing on the lower brick size, you have the biggest brick in brick volume in over 100 bricks. Then it got sprung, and now you're having a rally. I mean, I'm looking for a change of trend. I'm looking for this pullback on crude to end, and a change of trend and resumption to the upside. All right. Why? Because the volume here is stopping action or buying or volume off the bottom. It doesn't matter. It's just demand off the bottom, and it's coming at the right place, meaning the right levels where there were heavy buyers there already, and that's where the pressure is coming from. So pull back to 75.12 and 74.50. This is where I'm looking for to see if there's a reversal after the pullback to the long side. Selling pressure is at 77.20 and 78.75, those two areas. You see over here in the 4 hour, I'll show you right here. This area right here, there goes that. Anyway, we'll use this. Shit. Anyway, you see these candles, overlapping candles? These overlapping candles are very, very meaningful. And because basically what they did was they tested, redistributed in a very tight range, and then broke the market. That's what that was. It was like a little hinge. You typically get this. You have like a bar and then a bunch of little bars in it, and then it's like it's ready to shoot. All right, and it shoots to the downside. This happens a lot. Not a lot, but you get the idea that it's something that few traders know about, and I haven't really gone into it much in depth here, but this type of behavior where you have that with a bunch of it's almost like I don't know what to call it, but it's very important, and it led to the resumption of the breakdown. So that area, which is the 78.75 for the pullback, I think would be a good place to take a look. More immediate, the 77.20, but the thing is, it already got tested once. All right, it already got tested, so that means that that area is weaker. Why? Because the new sellers that were going to come in on the pullback, they already got in because it already got tested. When a market gets tested, that means that the existing sellers or the new sellers that wanted to get in there already got filled. So are there even more sellers? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know, but I know it already got tested. So if there were orders there, they already got filled and they did make a profit. And there's too much volume here on the downside right here. As you see, big green right here. This volume in 100 bricks, I mean, there's no question. They're accumulating the lows against that level. And that's where they got in before, as you could tell by the high volume there. Biggest volume in the last 20 bricks, right? And now getting tested in that same area. Buyers came in, biggest volume in the 100 bricks. And now rallying to the upside. There's a minor breakout right here where the volume increases slightly to 59,256 contracts. So that's why I'm thinking that it's going to pull back, test, go. I'm not really sure if it's going to break out above here, but there is volume building up. This brick that is currently forming is the biggest brick volume in 6 bricks, and it's against a supply area. So what does that mean? Is it going to absorb and break out, or are they selling and selling into that to create the pullback lower to then go higher? So all those possibilities, but really you just have to wait and let them show their hands and just get in on the retest. All right. So on the lower time frame, this was what the hell did I do? Okay. This was the basically the change of behavior that went up. The shortening of the thrust. And when you get a shortening of the thrust, at least for me, if I'm long, I'm looking to get out. If I get overbought, I'm looking to get out, especially if I get overbought. All right. And then you see what happens after that shortening of the thrust and pulls back. It kind of just goes sideways for a number of minutes, well over an hour intraday. So we'll see if it takes out 77 whatever, and what this really is here. Is this absorbing that area back here? Is it absorbing? Is it encountering resistance? Is it, I don't know what it is. Is it distributing to pull back to 75.12? Whatever the case is, just be ready for it. Okay, so once again, let's take a look at, I think, gold next. So gold, it offered a trade yesterday, but the damn thing didn't have enough time to fly. It was at the end of the week. So this was the trade. When it spiked low here, both on the 15-minute and the 5-minute, went up. And I knew right there's a change of behavior. Why? Because of this. It tapped into a very important level, went up, heavy buyers were there, went up again, buyers are there, you could buy the pullback. However, the pullback only lasted, it didn't get to, it didn't, see, it goes, pulls back, 1 wave, 2 wave. I was looking for a third wave higher to, it didn't go, and then it reacted. Now it may pick up again. I'm not sure if this move has ended yet, because the selling pressure doesn't really seem that heavy to me. It seems more like a corrective pullback and a spring of the lows right here, the spring of these lows. Incidentally, where a lot of stops were placed. So we'll see if it continues up or not. But yeah, what am I looking for on crude? Crude, you had a shortening of thrust on the daily, which and a breakout reversal. So if you have a breakout and immediately gets rejected, or did I say, I meant gold? Yeah. So if you get a breakout and then you get this reversal, that means the breakout was not accepted and it's going to go lower. So this is a little problematic for gold. Now it hasn't broken these lows here yet, so we'll see if it's reaccumulating to go higher or not. But that's the idea. If anytime you have a breakout that fails like this, first of all, anytime you have a breakout, you don't know if it's a breakout. You have to wait for the following bar. And if it's a higher high or it's holding, that's a good sign. And if it pulls back gently, that's a very good sign. But if you have a breakout after that, you have a bar of equal or greater length on the downside, that means that the breakout was rejected. So that means it was a trap. All right, so that's what happened in gold. If you take a look here on this breakout, right? First of all, the breakout had no fall through, and instead it was followed by a bigger bar with more volume, biggest volume in 22 bars, going against the breakout on the downside. So that basically screwed the breakout buyers, and for sure the stops were taken here. Then it just doing this sideways thing. I don't know what's going on here, but there's just a range. It's probably some type of possibly reaccumulation, but I don't know yet. All right, this here was reaccumulation. You see how it pulled back, test, and started going sideways? This was reaccumulation, boom, breakout, test reaccumulation area, breakout, ejected, goes down right into the reaccumulation area, and now it's going sideways. I don't know if it's reaccumulating. I don't know if it's going to absorb and break. I don't know. What I do know is that there's a minor range here that's giving a number of short-term trading opportunities. All right, so yeah, so the levels on gold, this area right here, it's about the height of this brick. It's about 1984. Around the 1984, it has set up like around at least 3 trades. All right, so that 1984 area level, if you see change of behavior over there, it's basically giving you the trades. The other area is the 2020 area. All right, now I think it's eventually going to take out that high. Why I say that, let's look at this. You see this brick, this little hidden brick here? See that? That's the biggest volume in 100 bricks that came off of that support. Now you tell me, if there's all that volume at support going up, isn't that indication that someone's buying support? So that's why this has got me looking at this area, at this level, as being defended. And it is being defended. So, I mean, until this breaks, you know, I'm keep looking at these for trading opportunities and possible break to the upside. All right, the resistance at short term is 2020, and then there's 2057 resistance, but that's quite high. If you have a change of behavior here and it falls through and it takes out that 2020, it's very likely that's going to test that high break. Why? Because this was the brick that did that was the climax that did the selling to create this entire pullback. You see this? 92, biggest volume in 92 bricks. And look what happened. You see, this is the selling with the biggest volume in 92 bricks of a high that initiated the entire move down. Similarly, right here, the biggest selling on that high brick in 50 bricks, which initiates the selling down. You see that? So this right here is the biggest in 100 bricks. Now, what are they doing here? All right. So this is a very, very interesting. You see it's right here on the 4 hour as well. You see this? A lot of juice here, and then it gets tested, sprung, retested. So we'll see if they break through on the downside or it reverses and breaks out above the high. I think this entire area is reaccumulating. So I don't know yet until it gives me more evidence. All I know is the daily trend is up. We're at that reaccumulation area in the past, and it's going sideways against a level. And there was heavy buying last, which had some follow through. So again, 1984 and 1986 support, 2020 and 2027 resistance. 2020, be careful with, because it's already been tapped once, tapped twice. So it's likely those sellers are, the existing sellers that they're in, and I'm not really sure how many new sellers there are. So this would be an opportune time to break it and then go to that 2057 area, or like 2040 to 2057, that area there. see if market can take it out. All right, and on gold trades though on Friday was pap right here, boom, and that. After that low, this was the low, this was level, change of behavior, pulled back to test higher low. Remember that this is the low bar, right? That the low bar. All right, right there. That's the low. It's like a wick. It's difficult to see, but it's a wick. So then rally, test, another change of behavior, and it goes up. And we'll see what happens next. All right, thanks. Have a good night. Bye. Or good day, whatever.